Hello, so the first thing I'm going to do is, I've already mixed up my paints. This one here is 1 part white with 2 parts of Floetrol, and I also have mixed in here some phthalo green. It's a metallic version of phthalo green. 1 part paint, 1 part Floetrol, 1 part water. I have my metallic blue here, same combination. Cobalt blue, also 1 part of each, water, Floetrol, and paint. And then I have just a tiny little bit of silver here, and that is also 1 part of each. First thing I'm going to do is pour just a little bit of white all over the canvas and spread it to the edges, and this is just going to give my canvas some nice flow, enable everything to combine nicely. So I'm going to pause this while I just spread it out with my palette knife here. Okay, so I have now put all of my white spread out to the edges, and this just gives it a nice base. I'm going to set my palette knife aside, and I am going to do a dirty pour with this. So what I'm going to do is, actually I'm going to put a little bit of silicone into this, just a splash. Whoops, that's probably too much, but we'll go with it. I'm going to do that to all of my colors and give it just a nice basic swirl. Then I'm going to combine my colors. I want them only roughly mixed, so I'm not really too worried about how they pour into each other. Pour my silver in. And my last color I'm going to pour in is the cobalt. You see how that makes a real nice mix. Now, because of my setup here, I'm gonna have to pause while I flip my canvas on top of my cup, and then I will turn it both over at the same time. Okay, so this here is the fun part. I am going to let my paint flow. I know this isn't super centered here for you, but just gonna have to go with it. So let's let this all go and see what happens here. I'm gonna just tip my canvas back and forth until I get some good coverage here. What I'm going to do differently today is, after spreading out some of my silicone base, I'm going to put on some more of the white, and I'm going to do it in a particular pattern, and I'm hoping that it will work in helping to define some angel wings. So wish me luck. We'll see how this goes. Slowly but surely. Sorry you have kind of the super zoomed in view of this. Okay, so now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to dump my white in a particular motion so that I draw some angel wings here, and then I'll do my swipe method and see what happens, see if we get anything cool to show up. Okay, so I can already tell that this is going to be a little bit of a fail because I probably should have put silicone on my base layer too so that they have similar densities. But we're gonna go with it. I'm gonna see what happens. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my thicker white paint and I am going to drizzle this on in kind of the shape of my wings.
Seattle Southside presents your holiday to Don't List. Number 11. Don't let holiday travel make you crazy. That's what your crazy Uncle George is for. Instead, get
I think that looks pretty good.
holiday vacation in Seattle Southside. Book a room that's conveniently close to the airport where you can
We'll do the other side too.
enjoy some family fun and raise your spirits at one of the area's many fine restaurants. Don't get Scrooged on your vacation. Get a smart start in Seattle Southside. Tap the banner to find out more.
Okay, now that I have some shape to this, I'm going to use just a piece of cardboard that I had cut, and I am going to swipe this down and back up. I'm going to kind of play with these for a little bit until I get the right combination that I feel comfortable with. Kind of liking how this is showing up. Let's go over here and try this little guy. I'm really liking how this is turning out. I'm going to do a little bit more white just right here on the crest of the wing. A little more right here too. And I'm gonna swipe it again. Gotta just be conscious about how I'm swiping or the direction that I'm moving my paint. All right, I'm gonna let that go for a little bit and see what we end up with. And I will check in with you in a little while. So I'm gonna pick this up and zoom out just a little bit. It's still wet, so you get a lot of glare, but hopefully you can see how I have made some angel wings. They look very fluid, like they're flowing very naturally through the water. But this is my angel wings. Now we'll wait and see how it dries.